1 minute. You know what the high sign is? Okay. I go high. No, that's it's a joker. That's a high sign. You are the tallest person in the room. So that's a very high sign. You might need a higher sign than such a joker. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting the live stream in just a few moments. We have started the live stream a few moments ago. So that's always a warning. So you clean up your language a little bit, and all of that. Yeah, so anyway, welcome to Unity of Pasadena. But we have Larry Evans, who's going to play a prelude today for us to get us kind of in the mood, I mean, he's warming up those 88s. All right. That's wonderful. We got a congregational song today too. We're going to do Holy, Holy, Holy to finish out the month. So, was that your plan?
Yes.
Excellent.
I
love it when a plan comes together. Let's do it.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy.
Stand up, you guys. Come on.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see the beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Let's go up here. I am holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Right? Is that it?
It's good enough. It's good enough. Let's do the Spirit Divine come to me one more time.
Yeah.
I love that part. Let's have all the harmony we've got.
Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing Allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Wow, thank you. So please be seated. See, that's proof we can do whatever we want to do, you guys. You know, we go with our feelings, we go with our heart, we go with where Spirit leads us. So we have a little faith and trust and step into it. Even if it doesn't look like it's what we wanted to do, it becomes exactly what we needed to do. So I want to thank you guys for being here. You've made it to Unity of Pasadena, by the way. You probably knew that. Probably recognized the place. There was a sign out front. All of that's working. So really, really glad you're here. Unity of Pasadena is a special place. It's where we believe in oneness. We believe that we are not only connected, but we're from the same source. You know, we are made from the same stuff, one another. We're also made of the same stuff that God's made of. God simply decided to make us out of itself. And we love that. And you know, that's a mystical tradition. That idea that everything that is, ever was, and ever will be comes from that perfect source, God. Spirit, the divine, creative energy, whatever you want to call it. And that means we are that. So we ride with the mystics today. And I love that idea. So it's a pretty high seat on the horse, by the way. So here at Unity of Pasadena, I like to start off with what I call a statement of oneness. And you guys have heard this many times before, so you just repeat after me, please. There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing. But it's only one thing. Expressing is you. Expressing is me. And everything we see. We also have a unity blessing that I'd like you to join me in. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And would you please join us also in our statement of faith? There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God the good omnipotence. And I am one with that presence and power. So let's practice that right now. Let's find ourselves a quiet space where we can practice that oneness with His presence and power. And let's do it first by taking a deep breath and releasing it. Let's do it again. And release it. Sink deeply into your seats. Let everything that it took to get here go. And know that the presence of God is right here, right now, in this very space. In, around, and through Unity of Pasadena, this sanctuary. In, around, and through each and every one of us here. We exude it. We are it. The presence of God is often felt as love. So we feel that. We draw that feeling of love that we're so familiar with into our hearts right now. We open our hearts to do that. And as we do it, we recognize and know that the presence of God has just entered our hearts. What a feeling. Knowing that we're protected. Knowing that we're safe and secure. Knowing that we are indestructible from the soul on through. We recognize and know that this very space that we're in is blessed, as are we. We accept that blessing, and we're grateful for it. We're grateful for so many things here at Unity of Pasadena. We have an amazing board of trustees that makes certain that everything is ready for each and every one of us on Sundays or any day that you step into this space. We have terrific volunteers that do some great things for us, from streaming to greeting us at the door to PowerPoint to sound. It's an amazing place of goodness. where our prayer chaplains hold the light for us at all times, and we have great gratitude for that. We have gratitude for our musicians. Each and every time they're here, we know we're going to be filled with and enlightened by beautiful music. And we thank you so much for that. And we also thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. You bring that consciousness which drives us forward, moves us higher, gives us more to think about, to do, and to be. And we're so grateful for that. So I release these words into the law of mind, and I know they're already done. And please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Whew. Well, so by the way, so good to see you, Paris. I'm glad you stepped in. I'm really glad you're here. In fact, if you're new, we just absolutely love having you here. And if you haven't been here for a while, we love it too. And if you come every Sunday, all right. We have a great good time here, and we love one another. So we have Jackie. I was looking around for her, and I thought, you're not Jackie, you're not Jackie, you're not Jackie. None of you guys are Jackie. Where is she? And I thought maybe I should put my glasses on, and then there you are. It's her birthday today. It's her birthday today. Today. Happy birthday to you. Hit it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackie. Happy birthday to you. And what would you like me to choose out of the basket today for your birthday? I'll go green. We'll go green today. Now, here's one sure thing for you guys. If you want to put questions in here, if you put it on an oddly shaped piece of paper or a different colored piece of paper, you have just raised your chances of getting that question picked out of the basket. Yeah, I'm that shallow. So go green. Here we go. Oh, I can see I'm going to need my glasses for this. Here, I got them right here. All right, question and quote. Shakespeare said, I love that great spiritual giant. You know, there have been so many times in my life I just couldn't understand what he was saying. But I get some of these things that he says, and this one in particular is pretty cool because I just looked it over here, and it says, there is nothing good as bad, but thinking makes it so. Oh, there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. That's the quote from Shakespeare. And it says, isn't this the same as the Bible quote from Proverbs 23:7? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Interesting. I love the connectors. It seems like our thinking is what controls our destiny. Question mark. So I think this is asking, do you think our destiny is controlled by our thinking? Oh, what an interesting question, isn't it? Isn't that an interesting question? So here's what I think. I think the answer is essentially yes. Our thinking does control our destiny, but that assumes something, that we are putting feeling behind the thoughts that we think. I believe that feeling is the most important driver in moving from what isn't to what is. I believe that feeling, as Neville put it, is the secret to bringing about those things that you'd like to see. You can feel your way into it. And let me tell you why I double down on that feeling and thinking combo as being really, really important. I just read an article yesterday in the New Yorker about AI, which I thought was fascinating. It had a PhD professor at Princeton discussing the use of AI by his students and how it was strictly prohibited through the code at Princeton. And he decided that in his philosophy class, he was going to actually use AI as part of an assignment that he gave to his students, and it became one of the most important things that he had assigned his students. Some of the material that they produced through their query, because a query or a question to this amazing array of knowledge that comprises the AI generation is important. You see, the way you frame the question pretty much portends the answer, or at least gives it a wider scope if you wanted to, or narrows it down if you'd like to do that. So if you're an artful question asker, you'll get some amazing answers. And that's what happened with his students. But here's the takeaway from what he believes about all of the beauty that came from that machine that was presented by the students. It didn't have the feeling behind it of a sentient being. It didn't have the experience of your lived life. It didn't have something behind it except for the words. Maybe the thinking of the machine wasn't nearly as powerful without that sentient being aspect. You know, your thinking, your consciousness is not just a bunch of words. It is coupled with life's experience and the thoughts behind them and how you feel about that next thought as opposed to the last one. And all of the amazing things that are contained not only in your conscious mind but in your subconscious mind. You know, they all interact together in incredible ways, and that machine can never do that. And this was kind of the essence of the article. Yeah, all of this information is out there. All this stuff is coming to, you know, the attention of the conscious mind, but it doesn't carry with it the weight of feeling, of lived experience, of life itself. And so it will never be us. That was his conclusion. It will never be us. So in trying to answer that question, I'm going to say partially true. Partially true. I believe that feeling is the depth of life and brings about this thought into form experience that sometimes we call a demonstration or a manifestation. So how did I do today? Oh, no. You know, I was so into it that I had no idea where I was. Is it even still Sunday? Yeah, thank you for sitting and listening to the 3-minute and 55-second question. Appreciate that. All right, you guys, we got some amazing stuff today, and it starts with a song. Come on, let's do it.
When it all comes true, just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. When you hold the world in your trembling hands, you'd think you'd hear a choir sing. It's a quiet thing. There are no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's a strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums, I don't hear the band. The sounds, I'm told, such Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's the strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums, I don't hear the band. The sounds I'm told such moments bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing, a very quiet thing.
Wow. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. Jeez. Today's word is freedom. Spiritual living is my path to freedom. Looking back over the years, I remember the ways I have felt less than free. Maybe I felt limited because of my background or my personal history, my education or my career, or because of things others believed about me. Without even realizing, I may have taken on a limited view of myself and what was possible for my life. But discovering the truth of myself as a spiritual being, a beloved child of God, has healed my heart and freed my soul. My life circumstances are only part of my story. I am so much more than the sum total of my experiences. My freedom lies in God and in my understanding of myself as divine. As I grow in confidence, realizing I can change my life through the power of my thoughts, I grow more free. And from Psalm 119, verse 45, I shall walk at liberty, for I have sought your precepts.
Good morning, everybody. Who loves Sundays? We love Sundays. So to get going for this morning, first off, I want to share what a joyous time Greg and I had last night. At our social club house, we had a 50s night. And we had a blast. Everything about that's just joyous. Whether it's the decorations or the food, the way you dress, and of course the music. And since we're all seniors over there, there was a lot of people out there dancing. And I know I made it out of bed this morning. I hope everybody else did too, because we really had fun. Even the DJ stayed later, after the tables were cleared off and the chairs were put away. There were still people in there singing and dancing. It was really fun. So I encourage everybody to do something joyous like that this week. Maybe not like that, but something joyous. And so I'm going to share with you one of my favorite little affirmations out of Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. This one's on page 15, and it goes like this. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, all is whole, and all is complete. I believe in a power far greater than I am that flows through me every moment of every day. I open myself to the wisdom within, knowing that there is only one intelligence in this universe. Out of this one intelligence comes all the answers, all the solutions, and all the healings, and all the new creations. I trust this power and intelligence, knowing that whatever I need to know is revealed to me, and that whatever I need comes to me in the right time, space, and sequence, and all is well in my world. So how many in here know when you're off balance spiritually, physically, and emotionally? We all know that, right? Yeah. And so we have to get into that. The tools that we have, meditations, whether it's exercise, eating, there's so many things for us to work on to get ourselves in all of that balance. Right, Marty? Yeah. And it's good that we do have these tools, and we do know where to go. And we do have prayer chaplains at this center. And so I would like to have all of the prayer chaplains that are here today please stand so we could be recognized in here. And know that these are the people doing prayer for you at this center, and we just love doing prayer. And we have prayer after church. So if you would like prayer after the service, please stay in your seats. Thank you. Be seated. And I'm your prayer chaplain for the day, so I will be here to pray with you. And if we have more people, then we have plenty of prayer chaplains. And we also ask that when after the service, when you're clearing out, to try to keep it down a little bit, because prayer is starting with people in here. And we think, and I love this prayer. So let's all say it together. Ready? Let the light of understanding shine upon all hearts, guiding us to recognize the sacred thread of oneness that unites every soul. In this shared tapestry of existence, may compassion be our language, kindness be our currency, and love our universal prayer. Let the winds of peace sweep across the globe, embracing every nation, fostering harmony, and dissolving in the barriers that separate us. As one human family, we cultivate a world where understanding prevails and the echoes of unity resonates in every corner. And so it is. Amen. Let's go into our 2 minutes of silence. Okay, you open your eyes, feel the space that we're in, and have a glorious, glorious day.
Cool. If you were around in the 70s, you probably heard this song.
Maybe not sung this way.
Little River Band.
Joan Baez's version. If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone, sailing on the cool and bright clear water. There's lots of those friendly people, they're showing me ways to go, but I never want to lose their inspiration. Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. And now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time for a cool change. Well, I was born in the sign of water,
And it's there I feel my best. The albatross and the whales, they are my brothers. It's kind of a special feeling when you're out on the sea alone, staring at the full moon like a lover. Time for cool change.
I
Know that it's time for a cool change.
And now that my
Life is so prearranged.
I
know that it's time
for a cool change. I've never been romantic, and sometimes I don't care. I know it might sound childish, but let me breathe the air. If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone, sailing on the cool and bright clear water. It's kind of a special feeling, out on the sea alone, staring at the full moon like a lover.
Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. And now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. Okay.
Well, I love a good double entendre, you know. Cool change is just that. You know, so you might think if you live in the desert during the summer, time for a cool change, you know. I mean, let's get into a cool spot so we don't feel so hot. But if you come from the 60s generation like I do, actually, I was born in the 50s, but I sort of came alive in the 60s, you know, the summer of love and all that kind of stuff. A cool change kind of meant, you know, you could use some cool, dude, you know? I mean, because you're not cool. And it might be the way you dress, it might be the way you act, it might be the way you use your language skills. I don't know. Cool change. It's a double entendre, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we want the temperature to lower a little bit during the summertime, but we also kind of want you to relax. You know, just relax into life. Be cool. Be cool. So thank you for that, by the way. You know, you get me thinking when you sing a song like that. You get me thinking. Of course, I remember the Little River Band, and I remember Joan Baez, too. And they were both, you know, some of my favorites, really. I mean, Little River Band is from Australia. Yeah, they do some really interesting stuff. So, all right, you guys. This is kind of fun for me today because, well, it's always fun for me because I'm going to tell you what I think. So, let me start with what we've done over the past month, okay? Because we went through Lent, and we experienced Easter, and we talked a lot about change. So thank you for that song around change. We talked a lot about moving toward an experience, something that we look forward to, a transformational experience, if you will. Something that happens within us that changes the way we think and feel and experience life. Something that moves us from an understanding of our humanity to an understanding of our divinity. We get that during the Lenten season? The experience of each one of those talks that I did was about moving toward this new you. Of course, this new you comes every year, but, you know, I mean, if you said to me, I did this last year, I'd say, oh, maybe it's time you do it again, you know? The theme for this month that I settled on was everyday enlightenment, which is a double entendre too, because everyday enlightenment might be enlightenment in a way that everybody can understand. You know, you don't have to be a Buddhist to understand this kind of enlightenment. You don't have to be a Christian to understand the mystical enlightenment, a strategy and way of being. Everyday enlightenment might be just you understanding something that you didn't know before. That's one meaning. Another could be everyday, enlightenment, which means that you kind of have to practice this every day. You know, and that sort of falls into that phrase that the Buddha gave us, and it's one of the most common phrases that when we quote the Buddha. Every day, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Why do you have to keep doing that if that's how you get to enlightenment? Well, because it kind of fades, you know? It kind of fades. You know, once you're enlightened, so to speak, there has to be a way of sustaining it. There has to be a way of bringing it about each day. There must be a way of reminding you, because we forget that enlightenment feels like this, that the way you get there is through this methodology, that we have to care for our enlightenment, I guess is the way I might put it, you know? You got to feed it and water it and do the things that are necessary in order for you to stay in that groove, you know? And I think that's really the case. The case with anybody once they recognize that they are kind of a dual machine here, human and divine, is that we keep slipping into that humanity part of us, and we start letting go of the divine part of us. We forget who we really are. We forget about our authentic selves. And so we're liable to fall into the ways of the world, as some people might put it. You know, be swayed by this material world that has so many things to do, so many ways to think, so many people to meet, so much judgment to be had. And I'm not just talking about the judgment that you might feel from others, but the judgment that you bring about through yourself, about yourself. We judge ourselves pretty harshly. You know, when we think other people are judging us, just look at how you talk to yourself. I know it can get pretty rough if you really pay attention to it. So the idea that we have to have a strategy once we've made it to the top of the mountain to stay there is kind of a pretty cool idea, isn't it? I mean, so what I'm doing is telling you that you guys made it. You made it to the top of the mountain. You are there. You're there. Is there a way to stay there? Well, of course. We're going to talk about those things today. How do we sustain this transformation? And if you're telling yourself right now, well, I don't recall a transformation, it's okay. It's all right. You can start whenever you want. You can have it when you so desire. If you want to be transformed to that next level, it's up to you. You can move into it as soon as you are ready. And once you believe you've made it, you're going to need some tools to stay there. So that's what this is about today. It's about sustaining that transformation that we have achieved. So I think that a definition of enlightenment that we can use that is so simple, and I really, really like it, is when we release the idea that we are human at depth and release the idea that we are trapped in this environment of the material world where we feel the judgment, we feel the pain, we feel the suffering because we're so human and so sentient that we can't help it. And recognize and know, as Jesus came to tell us, that we are divine. So as you release that human side and move more toward the divine, you move more toward enlightenment, and you're likely to feel the difference. You're likely to feel the change within you. You'll stop judging yourself. You'll stop judging others. You'll stop doing some of the things that we as humans do, which is to hold grudges. We like to do that. We like to feel like we have been offended, which is, it's a pastime for many. They look to be offended. We stop feeling those things that make up that fully human aspect of us and start feeling the fully divine aspect. And so what are those things? How do we know what those things are that we might want to practice? Well, we spent a lot of time over the last month talking about Jesus and what he not only represents, but what he practiced and how it unfolded for him. So he had some practices that were not traditional in that time. He spent a lot of time with people who were considered to be unsavory. He spent a lot of time with people considered to be from the wrong side of the tracks. And that's a euphemism that maybe it's too old now. Wrong side of the tracks. You might be too young for that. What does that mean? Wrong side of the tracks. What that means is lower companionship. And he spent a lot of time there. He spent time with lepers. He spent time with prostitutes. He spent time with tax collectors. And the way he did that was to sit at their table and talk. The way he did that even more dramatically was to heal them. Wow, that's incredible. To show love and to show compassion. To forgive anything and everything that came his way when forgiveness was necessary. To practice non-resistance. To love your enemies. That's really what non-resistance is. To practice that kind of non-resistance in those times of oppression, really, really tough. And he showed us ways to do that. So he gave us all of these examples, see? And those kinds of examples can be utilized in working out some sort of strategy to sustain our transformation. So I put together some things in the book of Greg that I thought were kind of fun around those ideas. So I decided that the first thing I wanted to talk about was the law of being in love. I'm not talking about the law of love. I'm talking about the law of being in love. Is there a difference between love and being in love, you think? Do you sort of feel the difference? Yeah? You kind of feel the difference? You could say, well, I love life. And that's true. But that's so general that I really don't get an idea of what you're talking about, and what you've done is express a principle, essentially. Love is. And it's a little different from being in love. Because I could say, I'm in love with the sunrise. I'm in love with the way my garden grows, Barbara. You know, she's always out there working that garden, you know, getting that soil just right so that the plants can feel that love that she gives them, because she's in love with those plants, and I know that's true. Many of you have things or people or experiences or ideas that you are absolutely in love with. You're in love with them, meaning you're drawn to them. You might have a spouse that you just cannot live without. You might have children that you are so in love with you want to spend every moment with. You might have pets that you feel that way about. I mean, being in love is something that is way different than just love. Being in love is a practice that will get you to a higher level if you engage in it every day. That's the law of the book of Greg, the first law. Being in love. So, Rumi poetry tells us something about this. I love Rumi. You guys know how I feel about Rumi. Rumi's poem. It's entitled In Love, by the way. If the sky were not in love, its breast would not be pleasant. If the sun were not in love, its face would not be bright. If the earth and mountains were not in love, no plant could sprout from their heart. If the sea was not aware of love, it would have remained motionless somewhere. It is in love. So the law of being in love is a practice. And you can kind of actually understand the feeling behind what it is, your object of desire. I'm trying to not use the word feeling during the description of this, which is very, very hard, you know, because I want you to understand that being in love is actually feeling it rather than, living within a principle of love, which is, some people might say, loving everything. I love everything. I just love everything and everybody. Yeah, well, that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. But being in love with everything and everybody is a totally different thing. And I don't know if really that's the way to express the way you feel about your everyday existence or want to feel about your everyday existence. But I can say this, that if you find something that you are actually in love with and spend time with that, you'll move to a higher plane. You will move to a higher level. If you don't have anything yet, start. I love my turtles, right, Bobby? And I know that you gave them the best that you could, and when you moved, you had to give them away, and you gave them to a great home, and all of the things that you have to do when you're in love with something, you do it. You could start by looking at the sunrise in the morning, if you like it. You know, I am in love with the sunrise. Not only do I love life, which is a general principle, but I'm in love with the sunrise. I'm in love with the reflection of the sunrise in Jackie's eyes. You can start with that feeling. Find something you can be in love with and practice it every single day. And I think you move to that space where you're actually sustaining that transformation. Not only do you see love, but you feel it. You know, that kind of goes along with my answer to that 3-minute question, too. You know, it's the feeling behind it that's really, really important. It's not just, you know, the thinking of it. So that's the first way to practice this whole idea of sustaining transformation. Here's the second one. The law of presence, I call it. And that's living in the moment, of course. Here's a quote for you from Margaret Bonanno. It is only possible to live happily ever after on a moment-to-moment basis. And what she's saying is it's a good thing to be in the now, to pull yourself out of the fear of the future, to pull yourself out of the regret of the past, to spend time in the now. In fact, Eckhart Tolle wrote a book on that exact idea, and he called it The Power of Now. I mean, what a fantastic book. And what he's doing is telling us all that if you want to live life fully, and if you want to truly connect with life, and you want to be free of the fears that bother you and constantly nag you, then live in the now moment. He said things like this. He said, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. The past has no power over the present moment. The future has not arrived. Eckhart Tolle actually made his reputation on this idea that this life can only truly be lived in the now moment. I think that's true. So if we practice that law of the present moment, I think we're practicing the beauty of what is in front of us, what we're experiencing right here and right now. Now, I know that I can tell that most of you right here and right now are in this very space. I mean, you are in the now moment. You're listening. You're watching. You're sitting. Your mind is not somewhere else. It's not about the things that you have to do when you get home or the things you didn't do before you left. It's not there. It's right here in the now. Everything else goes away except for this now moment. You feel the love in this space. The light is shining right here in this room, illuminating your heart. I mean, you are absolutely in the present moment right now. You can hear the sounds of the present moment. Practicing this law of the present moment is so important in sustaining our enlightenment so that we don't slip back into those ways that bring about the suffering of life itself. The third way we can do this is to practice the law of compassion. Now, I think this is about awakening our humanity. Acting compassionately reinforces the truth of our interconnectedness, our oneness. It's the key to being the mystic that we wish to become. It's understanding what is behind the truth of life. And so I found some things that you can do to show your compassion and your oneness, to care about others. So it's help when you can, forgive easily, listen without judgment, and include yourself in all of that. Here's a quote for you from Carl Jung. I feed the hungry, he said, forgive an insult, and love my enemy. These are great virtues. But what if I should discover that the poorest of the beggars and the most impudent of offenders are all within me, and that I stand in need of the alms of my own kindness, that I myself am the enemy who must be loved? What then? What then? That is really an insightful idea, isn't it? You know, I do all of these things in a compassionate way to help the world, yet sometimes I judge myself so harshly, I can't forgive myself freely, that life just becomes unbearable because I'm living in this thing that can't be forgiven. You know, we had a transformational class here, you know, moving from self-condemnation to self-compassion. It's a tough road, but once you understand the path, you can walk it, and you can actually see yourself differently and recognize your authentic self. And I think a lot of us really, really did that. I think it had a great impact on people. And it had a great impact on me, once again, teaching that class. But Carl Jung's talking about self-compassion. And here's the thing. If you can give yourself compassion, and if you can see the oneness in you and all other things, then you will have no problem whatsoever being compassionate with the rest of the world. So maybe it starts with us. Maybe it starts with our own healing. Can we work on that? Well, sure. Is that tough? Well, it can be. Does it take practice? Yes, it takes practice. But the law of compassion is one of those things that absolutely will allow us to sustain this transformation that we've achieved. So there are many, many more laws, that will help you to move forward. There are many, many more ideals that we learned about that were expressed through this great example of Jesus that we can practice. But these are 3. If I gave you 8, you probably wouldn't do any of them. Really, it's true. I'm not giving you 8. I'm giving you 3. And here are the 3 once again. The law of being in love. Being in love. The law of presence, being in the now. And the law of compassion, it begins within. So happy transformation, you guys. Yeah. Ooh, it feels good to be in love with you. And I am, by the way. I am in love with you guys. And I am in the now with you right now. I'm not worried about a thing. I'm not concerned about anything. And the compassion I feel for you is overflowing because I have forgiven myself. So you guys, there's a big hearty namaste in this somewhere. The God in me recognizes the God in you, and so it is. Thank you. All right, so we're going to do our community giving, and we have you, Clifta, it is so good to see you. By the way, yes, come on forward. Come on. Bring that ushering machine you have with you. If anybody's ever played lacrosse, it sure looks like a lacrosse basket, doesn't it? I mean, it really does. Only you don't put a ball in it. But I want to thank you, Clifta, for all you did Friday night, for the magnificent, and your helpers, the people that helped you to do this, your committee, so to speak. You brought us together, which is a true gift, and you brought in some resources for this space. And this space is a place that you can truly, truly be in love with. And so it's worth supporting, and I appreciate that. And that's why we engage in our community giving. And when we do it as well, we do something else. What we do is we block this pipeline, or unblock this pipeline of giving and receiving. We open ourselves up to receiving as well as give the gift of giving. And that's a wonderful thing. So it has a dual purpose. So I want you to join me in the community giving statement, please. God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And so it is. Wait. Thank you. Here's what she said, so gently. She said, don't you want to read those names? No. I do. I want so badly to. So I better put on my glasses. These are the people that made it onto our live stream that we can identify. This doesn't mean that this is all that's here, because some of them end up over on YouTube and we don't get to see them, but they're watching. Hello, YouTubers. So we have Audrey. Oh, and we have Michael O'Brien and we have Carol Wyke. And they're both usually on YouTube. Maybe you made Facebook this time, but I know they're there. Absolutely. We have Laura Unruh. We have Virginia. We have Riva. We have Charles DeTurk, all the way from Michigan. And we have ourselves the beautiful and talented Charlene from Tennessee. So hello, you guys. So glad you're with us today. Thank you. There we go. We did it. We did it. Thank you.
When a step seems too hard to take, every turn feels like a big mistake. It makes you want to close your eyes and hide. Trust yourself, even if you're scared. Don't give up, don't give in to fear. All the strength you seek, you'll find inside. Open up, spread your wings and rise above the clouds in your mind. Don't hide yourself out in the open. Step into the spotlight and shine. Be the change, fall like a domino, a chain reaction that sets the world aglow. You'll be amazed at how it falls in line. Open up, spread your wings and rise above the clouds in your mind that blind you to who you really are. Don't waste your time, no one else can live your life. Open up to what you've known all the time. Round and round we go, we don't fall down. More than flesh and bone, we're heart and soul, light and miracles. You are more than you are. You are more than you are.
Open up, spread your wings and rise above the clouds in your mind that blind you to what you really are. Don't waste your time, no one else can live your life.
Open up to what you've known all the time.
What you've known all the time.
You are more than you are. You are more than you are.
And recognize that Gay is doing a bunch of things. Thank you, Gay. That was really very, very nice. Compassion, wisdom, the ability to multitask. Wow, wow. So here we have tithes and treasures, and we have great thanksgiving for these because these allow us to do the things that we need to do here at Unity of Pasadena. And so here's what we do in prayer. We promise here at Unity of Pasadena to utilize these tithes and treasures with integrity, to utilize these beautiful gifts to not only raise the consciousness right here at Unity of Pasadena, but in the surrounding community. For we know that as a pebble drops into a pond, each and every ring of influence moves out. So as we think, as we feel, as we know the truth, the community begins to see it, feel it, and know it as well. And so we act as a beacon of light, and we're so thankful that we have that opportunity. And it's with this promise and great thanksgiving that I release these words into the law of mind, and they are done. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Clifta. I appreciate it. All right, so Barbara, come on up. Barbara's going to do our community today. I think that's about your height.
Well, I can always do this. Good morning, everyone. And keeping with the theme of sustaining transformation, let's affirm together our vision and mission statements. The vision is envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission is transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And we have 4 core values, which are creating community, living love, teaching truth, and serving spirit. And we also have a wonderful hospitality time today, being hosted by Team S through Z. And would you believe it's already May next week? So, the first Sunday of May will be Team A, B, and C. All right, and our regular Tuesday class was Michelle has a new face to the slide. It contains kind of a vague image of people who were in attendance at the last one, and as well as it's being an invitation for anyone who hasn't tried this out yet. On Tuesday mornings, right here at 10:30, just for an hour of wonderful stretch, music, laughing, and some meditation. And as Michelle, aka Mickey, would say, you gotta have fun. So come and have some fun. And I see that Reverend Greg already spoke to, our benefit concert and silent auction, which we held on Friday evening. And the concert was great, and the refreshments and camaraderie were even better, and the silent auction yielded many sales. However, there still are some items out here in the fellowship hall, and so that you can't miss them. They're on your way to the hospitality table, okay? As well as there's a $5 table to, behind the screen here. So, and actually, Gay's mom took advantage. You see the hat she's got on today. She got that off the $5 table this morning. And if you weren't able to attend, but you'd still like to give something toward it, maybe even just the cost of the ticket, like $20 or anything, the benefit proceeds are being split between our existing fire and ice fund, still paying off the heating and air conditioning units, and the Eaton Fire Fund. But if you do, help me out so I know which line to put it in. Put like benefit in the memo line or something, or on the envelope if it's cash, or if you Zelle, put it in the option box. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, and at this point I'm going to call up Jackie to. I see she got Basha with her, so let's just see what they have to say.
All right. Thank you, darling. Hi, everybody. Everybody knows this is Basha, right? First, we wanted to announce that Pinocchio will not be with us for the next few months. Her father passed away in Japan, so she's in Japan with her family. When is she coming back? Mid-June. Also, today is her Reiki sound bath, and I have the list right here, and I have a few spots open. We have 12 o'clock open, and we have 4 and 4:30 open. So if you would like to get on the list, please let me know. And did you want to talk about Thursday?
The first Thursdays of the month, we have a community healing Reiki share, and all of the proceeds from that, your donations, go to Unity. It's myself, Pinoco's husband, Pinoco when she's here, and other Reiki masters and practitioners. So it's a good way to get infused, depending on the amount of people that come in and how many of us are working on you, but typically a session is about 20 minutes, which is really neat. And sometimes we have a few stations available. So that's coming up on the first, on the first Thursday in May. After meditation, yes. 7 p.m. 7 until about 9 p.m. So you don't have to come exactly at 7 p.m. You can come anytime between 7 and 8:30 p.m. Next month, there won't be the private Reiki sessions. No Sunday next month. So if you would like a one-on-one session, then you could look at the available time slots. Just like my shirt says, Peace on Earth. When we, because Pinocchio, even though she's in Japan, she's sending energy, even though now she's sleeping at this time.
But we set up the space so that she also energetically is with me, with you, with us. And health is inner peace. So my intention for you, regardless of what your intention is for you to have peace in your life so that you could have greater health. And healing is letting go of fear. So that's the other component that I focus on for you. Whether you tell me what you would like for me to know for you and imagine for you. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
The Buddha. Also, I set up the table so that your feet are towards the Buddha statue Hote, and have his happy energy of laughter and joy coming into your life through your feet and circulating around.
Okay. Now, we have one more thing about being balanced. And Kara Castle-Cornford's going to step up and refresh our memories again about the class is this Saturday at here at 10 o'clock, and that's May 3rd. So, Kara?
So this is the last time you're going to hear about this from me. And I hope to see many of you there next Saturday. I'm excited to be holding this workshop. We've got a number of people interested, and just remind you again what it's all about. It's called Balanced Being because the idea is that we want to make sure that we are not limiting the aspects of divine energy that we're allowing to be expressed to us, through us, and as us, because of any subconscious limiting thoughts we might be having based on our gender. So that's really the whole point of the workshop, and we'll be looking at archetypes that can help us to achieve a greater balance and examining our subconscious thoughts that might be limiting that in our lives. So I hope you'll be there on Saturday. I'm really excited to share this experience with all of you. Thanks.
Okay, and then being this is the first Sunday of May, next week also it's the tea time with your prayer chaplains, and next week it'll be led by Helen, right? Okay, and just one last thing. You know, we've had so many generous contributions to what we've called the Eat and Fire Fund. A number of churches have donated, a number of individuals have donated. And we've mentioned it before that we've got an application. We have only made 2 distributions, however. I don't know if, I don't know what the reason may be, if, I don't know if it's a hesitancy that, well, maybe somebody needs it more than I, or, you know, or what, but we do still have funds to disperse, and you know the law of circulation, it needs to keep moving. So whether it be you or someone you know, someone in your family, someone whose situation you're aware of, even if they're not a member of this church, please, I encourage you to take one of the applications. You'll find them out on our fellowship hall table there. You know, fill it out for yourself if you're the one who has something. I mean, when I think about it, and I think like, gosh, I lost all my clothes. Okay, yeah, I can change between 2 outfits frequently and constantly be doing hand washing or something, but, you know, that's a huge loss. You know, maybe if you lost everything for the kitchen, you know, it takes a few dollars to, you know, get your kitchen back up and running. Whatever it is, please feel welcome to share it with someone else that you know if you don't have the need for yourself, so that we can do the circulation of the funds that have come to us. Okay, and I think that's about all I've got for this morning, so I'm going to turn it back over to Reverend Greg.
And I want to thank the Unity West Side. I've gotten 2 checks from them, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, it's real. I mean, if you need help, we want to provide it. And please understand this, that we are who we say we are. And this gives us an opportunity to show that and to feel it and to know it. Meaning we are support for the community. We are support for the individual. We are spiritual support. We're material support if you need it. So please feel free to grab an application. We'd love to respond. So why don't we do a song? What song are we going to do?
I have Let There Be Peace.
All right, we're going to do the peace song, but first we're going to do the silent unity prayer for protection.
I don't have the other one.
So if I could get everybody to stand up, please. So the silent unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our pyre, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every serenity, let this be my joyous vow. To take peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be